March 2nd, 1962, and it's pretty hallowed because nobody's going to... What's second on that list?
81.
It's Kobe. Kobe scored 81 points on January 22nd, 2006. Now, I remember that individual achievements. This, for me, would resonate. If Tiger Woods ever got healthy enough, which is now close to impossible, close to...
highly unlikely.
He's one guy I don't bet against like Tom.
Ouvre les yeux.
One out here in the first.
I really want to see Jackie Bradley throw because he's got such a great arm from this angle. I remember playing in the All-Star games and playing with the guys that have really good arms, Dave Winfield, for example, and you'd be in a cutoff position and the ball would just keep carrying right through your chest to his target. Jackie Bradley has that kind of arm.
Prends cette tablette, Sheikha.
You know, I mentioned before that
Elle te montrera la voie après
Buchholz
ton
was
long
so good
sommeil.
down the stretch. Last 7 starts, 4-0. Those last 7, they were all pitched out of the stretch.
Here's Napoli, Indians cleanup hitter and former Red Sox. Turned on that. Sent it over the roof in foul territory.
The wind didn't stop that one from getting over the roof.
That's the only baseball that needed a T-pass here in Boston for the train. "14 home runs, that's a big number, 72 in the 3rd innings for Clay.
The 0-1 misses outside, and the count even. Napoli with a 101 RBI season, first time over the century mark in his career, and looking for his first run batted into this series. Got a runner out there at second, Santana. 1-2.
I don't know about you, Cal, but I think it's imperative that Buchholz has got to get through this inning.
Well, absolutely. I was just thinking, you know, from a wear and tear standpoint, is because of Xander not catching that first ball, you know, how many more pitches he'll have to throw, how hard he'll have to work in this first inning as a result of a play that wasn't made.
The 1-2 in the air to right. Betts is back and makes the play for the second out.
But if he gets out of this inning with that play that happens, that's going to be a big plus for him.
Dirige-toi vers le lieu que t'indique la carte de la tablette Sheikha.
We used to always have an expression, you know, he had a long inning and maybe they'd score 1 or maybe they have the bases loaded. You'd come in and say all that and just 1 or all that and nothing. And it always seemed to give us a better lift in the course of that game in that particular bat as well.
You know, you look at this Cleveland team, Santana is great on-base percentage. Kipnis is excellent at second base. Lindor is going to be one of the great players. But Jose Ramirez might have been the MVP of this Cleveland Indians team this year, and he has a chance to do damage here.
Top 10 in the American League in hitting at .312. Hitting .571 in this series, and he too looking for his first run batted in. Buchholz to the plate.
After that misplay by Xander Bogaerts, you and I were discussing before the game, this Boston crowd was very somber, very silent, very quiet. And they started to get it going until that play happened. And again, a little bit in their shell so far.
You know, looking out over Santana's shoulder here, you get a good chance to see how far he gets up on secondary lead. And he's got to be getting a little bit further and going on contact here, because you got guys in the outfield that can throw, and you have a short left field here. So in order to score on a base hit, you want to get the absolute best jump and the best secondary lead you can.
Twins and Odyssey, a part isometric 97 PC game. Interesting. Well, good luck with your any precision attempts. Nice fight. It was like really sexy.
Hey. Oh. Oh.
Cool. He jumped and avoided it. Job. He jumped and avoided it. Okay. Didn't know that could happen. He literally attacked on frame 1 and avoided the hit. Alberto. In Mao. Your life sucks. Dude, I just want to tell you. Your life sucks. What's up, Ian, by the way? Your life sucks. What's up, Ian? How are you doing today? What's up? I saw that more work has been done on the Beetle charge, or everyone's calling it Beetle's ass. So I guess I'll call it Beetle's ass too, even though nobody knows what that means. I'm curious to see what people find, because I see people in the SD community are working on it too. So what's for work? Oh, what time do you have work? Nice, first try. 3? Oh, okay. Cool. What happened? I don't.
Well, we showed you what Ramirez does with risk in his quadrants, all over 300 in every single quadrant. Ernie, he is outstanding with 2 outs and runners.
To the tune of 366. Trying to get the Indians on the board here in the first off Clay Buchholz. And that sails outside. 3 balls and no strikes.
Really almost like a microcosm of this series is that Ramirez in a big situation, very patient, waiting for the pitcher to come to him. Red Sox have been very impatient.
There's a strike, 3-1.
That's a great point, Ronnie. We always said you can be aggressively selective, and it seems like Cleveland has relaxed enough where they're recognizing the pitches where Boston has not. They're chasing the balls in the dirt, and they're a little bit too aggressive without seeing where the pitch is.
Runners lead from first and second. On the ground to second. Pedroia gobbles it up and throws him out. Buchholz pitches around the missed blade pop-up. We head to the bottom of the first. Andy Jr., the center fielder, hits 9th against Josh Tomlin.
You know, they love their hat tricks here in Boston. Well, Tomlin is trying to pull his own hat trick. Pitched them into first place, the Cleveland Indians, on June 4th. They never fell out of first. He won last day of the season, which clinched them the home field advantage, and now he's trying to pitch to clinch the ALDS.
This is a guy who is around the plate all the time. Only averages 1 walk per 9 innings. That's the best mark in baseball. He also gives up A lot of home runs. 36 this year. Only Jared Weaver gave up more, and that was 37.
So you're saying I'm going to safe out here at straightaway center?
Pedroia reaches out and fouls it.
Usually in the postseason, we spend most of our time talking.
As we get ready for Game 1 of the 2016 World Series on Fox.
About 6'6" guys that throw 100 miles an hour. Josh Tomlin is not one of those guys. He is a guy that has a big heart. He pitches around the strike zone, doesn't walk anybody, doesn't beat himself. Just a great uber competitor.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Pedroia. That just missed. 2-2. Ronnie, you see him on the far side of that rubber where he works.
Yes, right from the first base side, because he wants to own that outside corner to Pedroia, inside corner to left-handed hitters.
On the ground to third, Ramirez. 1 down.
Defensively behind Tomlin for the Indians as Coker Crisp gets the start. The rookie Tyler Naquin in center, and Chisenhall, who had that big home run in Game 2. Ramirez, Lindor, Kipnis, and Mike Napoli, who's made some amazing plays, and Roberto Perez. Mike Napoli's known as a guy, he hits home runs. It's like caveman baseball. He gets up there and just clubs the ball out of the ballpark. But he has 2 or 3 real fine plays so far in this series.
He had that diving stop the other day in Game 2, and also the ball that went off his glove and right to Kipnis, and they still got the out at first. Brock Holt 4 for 8 in the series. And that breaking pitch over.
Yeah, so if I was watching from the dugout, that's about 3 or 4 times he's had real good command of the curveball. And so you always want to know that as a hitter, what breaking ball is he getting over the plate?
Quickly ahead of Holt, no balls and 2 strikes. And that sails way high. We talk about how few walks he gives up. And to illustrate the point, last time he walked anybody was August 25th. On the ground to second. Routine for Kipnis, 2 up and 2 down.
So now he's gotten 2 outs on a slow curveball to Pedroia. He was out front. There, Brock Holt took a little off the fastball with a changeup, gets him to pull that over to second for a 4-3. Just a very intelligent hitter, intelligent pitcher.
You got 2 balls off the end of the bat. You want to stay out of the middle of the bat. Jam them or make them be out front so far where they hit it on the end. 2 harmless ground balls.
We've made the point, and you heard the guys in the studio talking about it before the game. Buchholz and Tomlin, junior college teammates at Angelina College in Lufkin, Texas. Into right field, sinking, and then caught. Chisenhall makes the putout. 1 inning in the books here at Fenway. Playmakers presented by the all-new Chrysler Pacifica. Gotten some production out of the lower half of the order, had the Indians through the first 2 games. Perez, the catcher, and Lonnie Chisenhall, of course, with the bullet home run in Game 2.
Remember, those were my 2 picks to click before we started the series.
Somehow that escapes me, but I'll take your word on it. Here is Chisenhall to lead it off against Buchholz in the second. Back to that story about junior college. So Buchholz shows up there in Angelina, wants to be the shortstop. Tomlin is the shortstop at the time, and Tomlin kept the job. So Buchholz did some pitching and playing right field for the Road Runners of Angelina College.
Wow, that's fantastic. Saw Tomlin take a couple of ground balls and said, I better learn how to spin the ball a little bit.
Yeah, they both pitched and played the field. Lufkin, Texas, also somebody else we've seen in the playoffs. Played high school ball there, Brandon Belt of the Giants.
You see Brock Holt moved over in between on the other side of second base from third base, keeping Xander Bogaerts in the same position that he normally looks at. It's one of the problems when you have a shift. It starts to put people in position that they're not used to, and you have to practice that position.
I didn't miss by much.
Fastball in, never came back. Good call by home plate umpire Tony Randazzo.
He was trying to come back, but it never came back all the way.
The 2-2 is lined off the glove of Brock Holt. Hit it into the shift, but hit it hard. And he's aboard to lead off the second.
Cal, best way to beat a shift? Hit the ball like a bullet.
Hit it hard. First line of defense is the pitching, by the way. He had a good break on that ball. Just not enough length. Couldn't stretch himself out far enough at the end of the glove.
Now here's the veteran Coco Crisp. Started game 1 and starts here in game 3. Squared to bunt and took it. Strike 1.
Coco played 145 games for this Red Sox team in 07.
Coco was shaking his head there. He didn't think he pulled it back, did he? Looked like he did make an attempt at that bunt. But I can't be sure, you know, because I'm way, way, way far away from the hitter right now.
I mean, you're Cal Ripken Jr. You had a choice.
It's a good seat. I'm just playing with you. And the weather feels really good out here, too. I know I complained in the opening that it was cold, but it's not.
No balls and a strike. Here it comes. No balls and 2 strikes to Crisp, who came into this postseason with 31 games of playoff experience, and 20 of those came with the Red Sox. Part of that championship team in 07.
We've seen some really good curveballs early. And normally when the weather gets a little cool, that's one of the pitches that's hard to grip. They seem to be doing all right.
Chisenhall with a lead at first, and Crisp waiting on Buchholz. Ran it in and missed.
Well, that's the proper execution of that fastball. You would love to throw that on the inside corner and get a call, but it was a purpose with it. He got it inside, moved the feet of Crisp, and now that has opened up the plate to maybe going back to a changeup or curveball. Looks like the changeup.
In the air, center field. Jackie Bradley drifts back. 1 down. Well, we've got a second. Let's take in a nickel tour of Fenway Park. Iconic ballpark, and I'm going to take you left to right at the features of this ballpark. The oldest in the big league. So you got the monster, which is 37 feet high, 231 feet long, and wasn't really painted until 1947. You got the triangle out there in center field. That's where triples go. 420 at its deepest part. And then down the right field line, the Pesky Pole, or Pesky's Pole, named for the great Johnny Pesky. And some say it's 302 feet. Others say it's 100 feet. But it's the short porch out there in right field. Here's Tyler Naquin.
It's a beautiful thing if you're a right-hand hitter and you hit a weak fly ball down the right field line and it goes over that part. It's only about 290 feet down there, maybe 296.
See, the opinions vary.
Yes.
That's a nice cheap home run.
It's Media Guide 302.
302. I had it measured at 296, Ern.
I like your angle better.
I walked it off earlier.
So a nice sequence that Clay Buchholz has working right now. That fastball in for a strike, countered, with the changeup right after that.
Yeah, when the changeup's down, it's really effective. He kind of hung one to Coco, left it up there, got away with it. But when it's down, it looks just like a good low fastball, and it just dies when they go to swing at it.
Naquin was 0 for 2 in game 1, 2 strikeouts. And he waits on an 0-2 from Clay Buchholz. But off the end of the bat, stayed alive.
Only issue I had so many years ago in pitching with a changeup with a runner at first. You have the first baseman holding the runner on. Second baseman is playing a double play depth, and that opens up that hole. What are you going to do with a changeup if you're a hitter and you put it in play? You're going to pull it. If you pull it, it opens up that hole.
That's why it's even more important to locate that pitch down and away if you're going to throw it. And he has the kind of changeup that he can go down in the dirt and get a strikeout.
Strike 3 called. 2 down here in the second.
Well, that's the 4th time that Buchholz has gone inside against the left-handed hitter. He missed the first 2. He made both of them to Naquin. For the first pitch, for a strike, and the last pitch to put Naquin away.
And that brings up Roberto Perez. Homered in the first postseason at bat of his career in game 1. The game in which he was the star with this Indians ball club. He was right in the middle of everything, offensively, defensively, on the base paths.
Yeah, he couldn't have had a more perfect game. He was all over the place.
Threw a couple of walks and scored a run in game 2.
I like the tag up from first to get into scoring position. That was my favorite.
Mine was his slide to get there.
Which I guarantee you was not his favorite part of it.
I didn't ask him whether he had raisins all over his kneecaps.
Chisenhall with a lead at first. He singled to start the inning. There it was, game 1 of this series at Progressive Field. And he was just getting warm.
Usually warm night that night in Cleveland. The ball was just jumping out of Progressive Field. 6 solo home runs.
3 for each side in that opener. A ball and a strike.
Well, both pitchers have got their curveball working for strikes. Beautiful pitch there from Buchholz.
Yeah, Buchholz looks like he's in pretty good control. Good changeup, spotted fastball on the inside part to a lefty, and he's got a really good curveball tonight. Inside with a fastball right here, I think. That's the high fastball.
Just overthrew it. Whenever you make a mistake when you're trying to come up and into a righty, if you're going to make a mistake, you want to make it up and in. Don't leave it out over the plate.
If the desire is to chase him out over the plate, you want it over the middle of the plate, because hitters won't chase the up and away, and they'll get out of the way on the up and in. If the hole is up, you want to make that pitch right down the middle. It's a risk, though. If you don't get it there, it could be hit.
The 2-2 is grounded to third. Holt will go the short way to Pedroia. And that'll do it for the Indians in the second. Stones presented by Jim Beam. Drink smart. David Ortiz, his numbers through 20 seasons, and this his finale. The 541 home runs, the 3 rings, and the multiple standing ovations, including the one he just got as he steps to the plate in the second. He's taken Tomlin deep 3 times in his last 7 at-bats against him. 3 for 17 career, and they've all left the park.
So he started 0 for 10, and then went 3 for 7.
There you go.
With 3 jacks.
Again, didn't know there would be math, but you are correct.
I just had him down 3 for 17. It almost feels like he's not hitting him real well, but now the way you put it, he started off slow and he figured him out. He owns him right now.
Tried to check his swing, and they checked down there at third. Vic Carapazza says he didn't go.
See the shift there because Kipnis is so deep. Look at Napoli, a foot off the first base line. 3 feet.
These are pretty good ways from first base. So any ground ball, you want to make sure, for example, to Lindor, who's over there playing more towards second base, he's got to give time for Napoli to get there.
I remember when I pitched against Pete Rose late in his career, you could not throw him a strike. I wonder if you're umpire at third, you wouldn't want to call him out on a check swing.
They check again. It's ball 4 to Big Poppy. And he is aboard.
Good call, Ronnie.
To lead off the second.
Well, the one thing I've noticed from Tomlin so far is that he had a horrible August. His ERA was 11.5. He threw a lot of cutters during that August stretch. He's gone back to his breaking ball, but it seems to be his theme tonight, even though it's early in the game. He wants to get these Red Sox hitters out with slow stuff.
So after not allowing a walk in his previous 7 games, 6 of those starts, dating back to August 25th, he walks Ortiz to lead off the second. Here's Hanley Ramirez.
You got Napoli playing behind Big Ortiz. Big Poppy. No threat to steal. They're kind of going at it a little bit, joking around.
Former teammates.
He wants to let him know that he's right behind him, so he doesn't get too big of a lead.
It's like the debate last night. In the air to center field. Naquin makes the play, 1 down.
He's feeling for him, making sure. Where is he? Right behind you.
Well, Xander Bogaerts steps in.
I like that Napoli made sure that Tomlin knew that he was right behind him. He said, okay, I'm not there right now. Don't come over and make a quick throw to first. Just to remind you, I'm setting up behind him.
Bogaerts just 1 for 8 in the series. Boston Red Sox had a team meeting on Saturday after dropping the first 2. John Farrow said the message basically was this: what's in the past you can't do anything about. Let's move forward. And he thought his guys were a little tentative in game 2.
I think the first game they were a little overcharged, going out there trying to swing the bat, and then when you try to make an adjustment, maybe you go too far the other way.
And I also think you have to give a lot of credit sometimes to the starting pitcher. Corey Kluber, when he's on, I don't care how good your offensive team is. He's that kind of pitcher that can just shut you down. But Boston in this series is 0 for their last 18 with men on.
Bogaerts a run producer in the regular season with 89 runs batted in. This one's to left and off the monster. And it's going to be a single. Poppy holds up at second. Best swing of the series for Xander Bogaerts. And they're at first and second.
It's like a little breaking ball that stays in, expecting it away, stays right on it, drills it off the bottom of the wall. Nice play by Coco. No chance for Big Papi to go to third.
That's one of those things, too, when you look at Coco Crisp and you see his history and playing with the Boston Red Sox. He knows that wall.
Yeah, I started to think always when we came in here, we hit a ball off the wall, it was a single. If they hit a ball off the wall, it was a double. Coco's played that wall before.
Here's Andrew Benintendi.
Well, I know we're only early in the postseason. Benintendi, best shoes I've seen so far in the post. I know it's early.
Benintendi also homering in his first postseason at bat in game 1. He hit number 9 in that game, moved up to the 7 hole, and he swings and misses 1-1. This guy's been so impressive in his rookie season.
All the Boston hitters, he was just so ice water in his veins. Got the ball to a 3-1 count and delivered.
One-time college player of the year. Played 34 games with the Sox this season. 1 ball, 1 strike. Runners lead from first and second, and Tomlin ahead 1-2.
So when you hit a home run on a fastball, you end up drawing a 1-0 changeup. 2 changeups in a row. That last one hung a little bit.
Noticed already in the second inning, a lot better swings by these Red Sox hitters on Tomlin.
Two and two.
The Indians have had 2 pitchers start a game in this series, Trevor Bauer and Josh Tomlin, who probably would not have started if it wasn't for the injury to Salazar and Carrasco. And here they are playing such a big part.
Got a win, or got nearly 5 innings out of Bauer, with Andrew Miller getting the win in game 1. And then Kluber was Kluber in game 2.
So we saw Big Papi get to second base in a pretty good time. His fastest on a double this year. But he's not getting a very big lead at all right now. Pretty much station to station from second base.
What was that? That StatCast number was like 8.9 seconds, and that when he legged out that double.
Right on.
Yeah.
He's not getting a very big lead right now. And really not getting much of a second there either.
The 2-2 slapped up the middle. Lindor takes it himself. And that is a dazzling play by the young Indian shortstop. The Giants game 3 of the NLDS tonight at 9:30 on FS1. Jake Arrieta, Madison Bumgarner. Giants trying to stay alive.
Bumgarner, Syndergaard in the last start. Bumgarner, Arrieta. It's not exactly like they're throwing the patsies at him, right?
No, exactly. We move to the top of the 3rd here in Boston, and Carlos Santana, the Indians' leadoff hitter, will start things off, and he takes a strike, 0-1. How about the play Lindor made to end the inning, Cal?
Yeah, he just made it look easy. He of all the shortstops, and there's a lot of great ones out there, he has ease of range and his ease of movement. That footwork right there, he steps on the bag with his right foot and just whips the ball across as if you're coming in to make a play on a bunt. He just is very smooth, and he's got really good legs and easy range, which means he covers a lot of ground, and it doesn't look like he's covering a lot of ground. But I'd say he has the best range of all the shortstops.
No balls, 2 strikes as you look from the monster back toward the plate. And Buchholz works on Santana. 0-2. Ran it in and missed.
I love what Buchholz is doing so far. It's like the Indians have had their way in the first 2 games, and he is establishing a message. You're not going to be comfortable in that box as long as I'm out here pitching.
Again, Bogart's the only Red Sox on the left side. This goes to the right side. Rockhold throws him out, 1 down.
So that was a 5-3 on my card, Ernie.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Iron Man.
All right.
You can put a check mark by it to just make sure you know it was on the right side if you want.
Got it. Check.
There you go. And now scorekeeping tips with Ron Darling.
It doesn't feel right. Go there at second. He grounded to second that time. He didn't ground to third.
This conversation could go on for a long time and go nowhere. Here's Kipnis. Buchholz looks sharp. He has allowed 3 hits, but one of those was the botch pop-up by Bogarts. And Santana hit the lead off the game. Tapped foul, 0-2.
Really kind of doing it with 3 pitches, Ronnie.
Yeah.
Fastball, hook, and changeup. And from a hitter's perspective, that changeup low and away to a lefty and then coming in, you can't cover both of them. So you have to choose one or the other if you're hitting.
Two upstairs, a ball and 2 strikes. Ronnie, when you look at the body of work for Clay Buchholz and you go back to early on, and here's a guy who throws a no-hitter in his second big league start. Sometimes is that a double-edged sword? Sometimes does it set the bar so high that you feel like you have to live up to that kind of thing?
I don't know if it's that as he strikes out Kipnis on that high fastball. I think what it is just that he had so much promise early. He still has great stuff. He's got a fastball 90 plus, an unbelievable curveball and changeup. He has all the ingredients to be a huge winner in this league, and it hasn't always turned out that way for him. His best year, he went 12-1, but only made 21 starts that year. John Farrell's played a big part, though, in his development, getting better, because he was on his way not to where he wanted to be.
Here's Lindor. In the air, deep left. Keep your eye on it. That's off the monster. Lindor safe at second as the throw sails over the bag. But a 2-out double for Lindor. He's 2 out of 2.
Can make all the plays. He can flat out rake, Cal.
Yeah, the ball's up out over the plate. Meant to spot it on the outside corner. Caught a big push on the plate. And he's got enough power to take it off the green monster.
He does not hit the ball like a small man. Got some serious bat speed.
He plays carefree. He's always smiling, always moving around. He really enjoys the game. It's fun to watch him.
Here's Napoli. Way out in front, 0-1.
Good change up there, despite the numbers of Jose Ramirez, and we talked about it before. 2 outs, he's batting .366 with runners in scoring position. I think that Buchholz is going to be very careful with Napoli here.
There for a while it meant if first base is open, just don't give the hitter a chance to hit the ball. But there is a consideration of who is on the end deck circle and what the matchup is. Clay's got good stuff today, so he can mix his pitches in. Good changeup, good curveball, good fastball that he can elevate and hit the outside corner. So he's got a lot of weapons today.
Lindor with a lead at second. Napoli waiting on Clay Buchholz. And here's the 1-1.
There's the elevated fastball, 92 miles an hour right at the top end of the strike zone. That's Napoli's strength, though, so I'm not so sure that was the right place to go.
Rounded toward third. Brock Holt got him. Ramirez with the pick over there at first. We head to the bottom half of the third at Fenway, scoreless. To follow Bleacher Report on Instagram and get the coolest sports content before anybody else. Join millions of others and follow Bleacher Report on Instagram now. Bottom half of the third. Sandy Leon. Red Sox catcher steps in against Josh Tomlin. Saw Hanley stretch on this throw to end the top half of the third.
Nice pick. Got stuck there for a minute. I don't think he's hurt. He got up a little slow though.
Leon's 1 for 6 in the series. That one was a home run in game 1. And he looks at a called third for the first out. Moments ago, Sam Ryan with Indians manager Terry Francona.
Terry, I know you've said Josh's stuff isn't overpowering. What are we seeing tonight?
Well, he's commanding, which is good. I mean, when he's commanding, he's working ahead. You know, he throws his fastball in and the cutter off of that. That's exactly what he's doing.
Knowing that you have a well-rested bullpen, especially Andrew on 3 days rest now, could we see a little more of what we saw in game 1?
Well, we'd have to have a lead. And, I mean, we obviously value our bullpen, as most teams do when you're winning. The idea is not to get your starter out too quick, but if you got a lead, you can bet you'll see the bullpen.
Okay, thanks a lot, Terry.
Thanks to Terry, Sam, Jackie Bradley at the plate. A ball and a strike. He has really struggled here in this ALDS. He's 0 for 6 with 5 strikeouts. One and two.
Boy, Tomlin is a strike throwing machine so far.
Tried to check his swing and did.
You know, there were 74 pitchers in baseball this year that threw over 140 innings. Tomlin was 71st out of those 74 with 17% swing and misses. What does that mean? Is that they just do not swing and miss. He has to outsmart you. He has to throw the ball to the corners, and he has to use the change of speed to be effective.
And he has a couple of different change of speeds. The curveball is a lot slower than a normal curveball, about 75 miles an hour. And that changeup is a really good changeup. So not only does he get you with the break of the ball in his curveball, it's a much slower pitch.
2 balls, 2 strikes. And there's another strike 3 call.
So you don't have to swing and miss when you get the backwards K. When they take the call third strike.
When you're pitching like this is not checkers. This is like advanced chess. Right? It just really has the hitters thinking one way and attacking them another. Mickey Callaway, one of the best in all the game. Pitching coach for the Indians.
Has to like what he's seen so far out of the right-hander who faces Dustin Pedroia on the ground wide of third. Nice play, Ramirez, and guns him down. 1, 2, 3 inning as we head to the 4th at Fenway. Caps, t-shirts, hoodies, jackets, and more. Celebrate your favorite team with the latest postseason gear at MLBshop.com. That's where Ron does all of his shopping. A view from the monster seats here at Fenway. As we move to the top half of the 4th inning, Jose Ramirez made that sliding defensive play to end the 3rd, leads it off.
You can see why Ramirez has had such a great year. No shift. He can hit the ball to all fields.
Not even a ball and a strike. It's Ramirez, Chisenhall, and Crisp. 5, 6, 7 hitters here in the 4th. Just a foul past first.
He's awful quick inside.
Never was there a more appropriate sign. Don't reach over that wall.
Sails high and away, 2 balls and 2 strikes to the very versatile Jose Ramirez. He can play third, he can play short, he can play outfield, and he's hit everywhere in the lineup for Terry Francona. He's the number 5 hitter tonight, leading it off here in the 4th.
Why is Ramirez been a player that seemingly has come out of nowhere? With 2 strikes last year, he was a 160 hitter, 275 hitter with 2 strikes this year.
We are due a payoff pitch, and here it comes on the ground and base hit in the right. Moments ago, Sam Ryan with Red Sox manager John Farrell.
John could have been trouble early in the first in this one. What do you like from play?
You know, he was patient with trying to finish off some hitters. He used a full assortment of pitches, and we get a little bit of an oddity play to lead things off on Santana's fly ball. But, you know, he showed a lot of poise to make some pitches and eliminate any kind of damage.
Big picture, knowing what's at stake. I know you named Rick game 4 for tomorrow. Who is available?
Everybody else. You know, that's, you know, we're all hands on deck kind of attitude right now. So that's got David Price available tonight. Obviously, Drew Pomeranz, Eddie Rodriguez if needed. So we'll see how this one continues to unfold.
Thanks, John.
Thanks to John Farrell. Sam Ryan going dugout to dugout down here at Fenway Park. Ramirez now 5 for 9 in this series. He's at first. And Chisenhall, who singled his first time, ahead in the count, 1 ball and no strikes.
Well, we've seen some good base running and some bad base running in this series. In fact, Mike Napoli is the only stolen base in this series, but Ramirez, 22 on the season.
Him leading off and getting on first base presents a number of challenges for the Red Sox.
Tried to sneak that breaking pitch in the back door, but missed 2-0.
Yeah, you never know. Trying to hold them on messes your own rhythm off, and all of a sudden you fall behind the hitter at home plate. Speed can do that to a pitcher.
Ramirez edging away from first. And Chisenhall takes a strike. 2-1.
A lot of folks at home say to themselves, how can you take a fastball 2-0? That was a good take by Chisenhall. That ball was a little above where he likes it. Likes the ball down in the strike zone.
You know, Buchholz doesn't lift his leg up much. Not quite a slide step, but he's pretty quick to home plate, and he varies his times. Difficult to get a jump off of.
Yeah, you're right, Cal. He's only allowed 3 stolen bases all year long, but this is the first time in the game that you feel as though Buchholz is going to have to challenge Chisenhall.
And here comes the 3-1. Fooled him 3-2.
So when you say challenge, does that mean with a fastball?
No, I was absolutely wrong. I thought he was going to have to challenge him with a fastball. He went with the change.
That's when you're throwing the ball pretty good.
With the count 3-2, Brock Holt moves from third into the outfield grass on the right side.
I would suspect he's going to run on this pitch.
And there he goes, the 3-2 fouled at the plate.
There's always a distinction when you're asked to put yourself in motion on a 3-2. There's a chance he strikes out. You still want to get a good jump. You don't want to get picked off. You want to get a good jump because you want to start moving. But if it's a strikeout, you got to try to beat it down to second base.
That was interesting, Cal. Xander Bogaerts talked to Buchholz to cover third. If there is a steal of second, third will be unoccupied unless the pitcher covers it. It steals second and third. Nice
Again,
feet, good move.
in the early days of the shift, people forgot about the responsibilities. And sometimes you would get a chance to get to second base and nobody would be covering third. So they could just take off and steal third.
Three balls, 2 strikes. Ramirez on the run. Fouled back.
Had a really good jump that time. He kind of timed it. He's starting to lean. He gets a good jump right there. I still like the idea when the runner looks in. There's a lot of runners that say they can't, but in order to steal the base, they got to focus just on second base. But it's a big advantage to know what happens at home plate. Whether it's a line drive, whether it's a pop-up, you get an early read. You know what to do on the bases.
Not going this time, and the pitch gets away on ball 4. Ramirez will hang at second. 2 on, nobody out here in the 4th.
It wasn't that Ramirez wasn't going. He wanted to go, but his feet kind of got caught underneath him, kind of tripped himself.
And here's that changeup again that he couldn't quite command. But you're right, Ronnie. He was going to run, but once you slip like that, there's no point in keeping going.
Well, the Indians have had a base runner in every inning now, and they've got him at first and second with nobody out.
They just need a lead and want a lead. And you usually wouldn't see this maybe in American League Baseball, but you have the right guy up at the right time. Coco Crisp, good bunter, guys on first and second with nobody out.
Meeting at the mound is over. The Red Sox defense getting together, and here is Crisp.
This is one of those situations where you can put a play on first and second, no outs. You can decide who charges, who stays back, who covers which base. You want to be everybody on the same page. In the rotation, it looks like Hanley's coming in a little bit, and Brock's going to be staying back at third.
Crisp takes 1-0.
And Clay Buchholz would have the third base side of his responsibility.
Buchholz coming off the mound after that pitch, though, Cal, did not move an inch towards the third base line. It is completely Brock Holt's responsibility, at least that pitch.
So if you take a peek around at your Coco, sometimes you get an indication of what bunt defense play is on. And pretty much I'd bunt this towards Brock Holt.
Squaring and taking again, 2-0.
And a bunt play is not always designed to force the guy to third base. The biggest thing, and I learned this from Earl Weaver in my very first year, a successful bunt play is when you get an out. You would like to design a play to get the force out, but you don't want to leave without an out here.
There is action in the Red Sox bullpen as we play here in the top of the 4th. Buchholz behind 2-0, and Crisp swinging away.
Boy, I love that call by Terry Francona. You have Hanley Ramirez only, what, 80 feet away from the hitter Crisp, and gave him a shot. I wouldn't be surprised he goes back to the bunt.
Gulp.
Well, he had that side of the infield open for sure. Hanley was surprised by the swing. He's not aggressively charging, but he is starting from a shorter distance. He would be easy to pass down there.
Robbie Ross Jr., Joe Kelly loosening for the Red Sox. The 2-1. Crisp lays it down to Buchholz, who will go to first for the out. They move up to second and third.
Good bunt by Coco. Bunted it to the third base side.
I mean, just execution of perfection by Crisp. He took the 2 pitches out of the strike zone for a ball, had 1 swing, and then got it down as you see Pedroia cover first base to catch the throw from Buchholz.
Here's Tyler Naquin. Naquin yet to put the ball in play in this series. 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts.
Situations are always difficult for rookie players. They want to do great things. They want to get that base hit to drive them in. Pitcher knows that. How does he counter it? By not throwing him strikes.
You want to convince yourself as a hitter the pressure is on the pitcher right now, not me.
Line drive, right field, base hit. That's going to get the Indians on the board. Chisenhall around third. And it's Cleveland 2-0. The rookie Naquin delivers a 2-run single.
So maybe Clay made a mistake by throwing a strike right there.
I'm not sure, Cal. I think that was a changeup.
Changeup or a curveball. Looks like it's got a breaking ball spin to it. It didn't get down to the dirt. Have the same sort of break as the other one did. Hangs over the plate a little bit, and bam. 2 RBIs.
The Red Sox were willing to concede the run. They had played the infield back with runners at second and third, and then Naquin delivers with the base hit to right. 2-0. Perez going the other way. Great stop by Pedroia, who throws him out.
Yeah, from this vantage point out here in center field, it looked like he wasn't going to be able to get to this. He really lays out and extends, catches it, makes a nice play to first.
Had no shot at the force at second. That ball was behind him. And he got the out.
How about he still looked at second base, and when he figured out he couldn't make the play there, got the out at first. Uniform dirty. It's official.
That might keep a big inning from becoming a huge inning, as Santana steps in with a runner at second.
You know, Ronnie, I keep going back. We talked about that 3-1 changeup that he got over the plate. But that's a time that you can't afford to walk the hitter. You know, you can make one first and second with Coco because he puts him in a position where you're a real threat to score when you get to second and third and 1 out. So the pitch selection there, even though he got the 3-1 changeup over, he ultimately walked him on a 3-2 changeup.
Got to look at Coco Crisp in the dugout, doing his part in this inning. Laid down the sacrifice bunt that put the runners in scoring position for the rookie Naquin, who picked up his first postseason hit, and it scored 2.
Gosh, Coco so late from the Oakland A's in the autumn of his career, and you'll always remember that bunt. Big play. Cleveland with runners in scoring position this series, 6 for 14.
Buchholz looks Naquin back.
You wouldn't think that with 2 outs and Santana up that Naquin would be stealing third, but Cleveland does it more than anyone in baseball.
Yeah, they look for the opportunity. A lot of times on the watch, how long it takes to get to home plate, get a bigger lead, and they'll steal it with 2 outs.
A ball and 2 strikes to Carlos Santana.
Well, I mean, that's textbook. Put that right in the dictionary about how to bunt. And this is a reaction you don't see a lot in the American League. the love from your teammates after a successful sacrifice bunt.
Hey, what was that you just did?
How do you score that?
1 ball, 2 strikes. Santana waiting on Buchholz. 2-2.
Well, that was the first pitch that Buchholz thought was a strike inside, but I think Tony Randazzo has been outstanding. The ball does come back. Our strike zone, it said it stayed inside. Tony, one of the better umpires in all of baseball.
Tyler Naquin with the lead at second. Carlos Santana waiting and fouls it back.
Sometimes you read the pitcher's lips when he says that there, I got to have that. And I'd always stand at home plate and go, why?
Because it's very important to us, Cal. It's a very important thing.
The ball is just a little off the plate.
You're so right. You know, I mean, that's the whole battle, isn't it, Cal? It's just that you're battling for the corners, and sometimes you set up a hitter in such a way that you know if you make that pitch, he's going to take it, he's not going to swing at it, and it'll be a strikeout. And you think you make it, umpire doesn't call it, and now there's another pitch that you have to make.
In the end, Ronnie, you almost made the pitch.
Almost is the key word. You're right.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. 2 in for Cleveland here in the 4th.
It's another common hitter thing, the old bug in the eye of 2 strikes late. 50 degrees out, no bugs.
Your eyelash could have stuck though. Come on.
And he struck him out. But the Cleveland Indians on the board first. 2 runs on 2 hits. We head to the bottom half of the 4th. 2016 American League Division Series coverage on TBS is presented by T-Mobile. Thanks a lot for being with us tonight. Here on TBS, as we bring you Game 3 of this best of 5. Toronto Blue Jays are waiting for the winner of this series after making quick work of the Texas Rangers.
What a series and what a team they have up there, up north.
And what a finish to Game 3 with, as Brian Anderson described it, the Donaldson dash for the game winner. I'll tell you what, Josh Tomlin struck out 3 of the last 4 he's faced. Looking. 8 home runs in that sweep for the Blue Jays. How do you like those runner in scoring position numbers? That will work against anybody.
We saw Edwin Encarnacion in the wild card. What a 3-run bomb that was. Toronto's starting pitchers last 21 games, that includes the postseason, against Texas, 1.99 ERA. That'll do it.
In the air to right field, Chisenhall took a couple of steps back and makes the play. Quickly 2 up and 2 down.
Well, you know, we spend a lot of time talking about, and Cal knows this better than anyone, when you're a pitcher and you get a couple of runs, you have to have a shutdown inning. His ERA, Tomlin, during the season is over 4, and he's facing his main nemesis right now.
He walked David Ortiz his first time. His first walk issued since August 25th. And again, you look at those walks per 9 innings. Just 1 is what Josh Tomlin averages, and that's the best mark in baseball. Big Papi had one idea right there.
I think with the backswing, he hit catcher Roberto Perez.
Yeah, totally by accident. That pitch was supposed to be in. He missed all the way to the other side of the plate. And here's the backswing. Nicks him on the top of the helmet.
That is a fair ball, gloved by Napoli. And that is another 1-2-3 inning for Josh Tomlin. 2-0 game. 4 innings in the books.
This 2016 ALDS telecast on TBS is brought to you by the 2017 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport. Go from 0 to anywhere. And by Sonic. Fly on over for buy one, get one free boneless wings Monday through Thursday after 5 p.m.
We head to the 5th here at Fenway Park. I'm going to tell you my Ted Williams story before this inning is over. Drew Pomerantz comes out of the Boston pen in relief of Clay Buchholz.
Well, he was great in game 1. Went 2 1/3 innings of relief for Rick Porcello. Struck out 5 and didn't give up a run.
Jason Kipnis happy to see Buchholz out of there. He had struck out twice against him.
I think we have to reiterate, with the loss of Salazar and Carrasco, you thought that the advantage for starting pitching would be with Boston. Their starters in 3 games now have gone 11 2/3 innings and have given up 12 runs with 4 home runs.
Meantime, the bullpen hasn't given up anything. ERA of 0 for the Boston pen.
Frank Cono talked about getting a lead. I was looking down at the Cleveland bullpen in between innings. It seemed like all of them were doing calisthenics down there.
Jack LaLanne school of getting ready, just in case.
Can you go a little more old school? Kipnis got the hat trick. Okay, so Ted Williams. Here's the Ted Williams story.
Okay.
When my dad, before he pitched for the Milwaukee Braves, he pitched for the Boston Braves. And they used to play a city series against the Boston Red Sox. They played it here at Fenway. And I was on the phone to my dad several years ago, my late father, Ernie Sr., and he said, what are you doing? I said, I'm watching BP over here at Fenway. He said, well, look out in right center field. See the bullpen? I said, yeah. He said, well, look up about 10 rows. I said, okay, I'm with you. And he said, Ted Williams hit a ball off there in the city series off of me once. And he said, and my manager, Billy Southworth, came out. And he said, don't worry about it, kid. He's hit him off better than you. My dad said, I didn't know exactly how to take that.
Exactly.
If it was supposed to be encouraging, it wasn't exactly.
There's a seat here now in right field that is painted a different color because it's where Ted hit a baseball. I've sat in the seat before. It's hard for me to believe he hit a ball that far, but it was Ted Williams. Now, one of the things that you have with these Indians because of the switch hitters. While Buchholz was in there, all the hits were off with left-handed hitters. They have a lot of switch hitters. They get a lot of favorable matchups. Here, Lindor switching over to right-handed, hitting against Pomerantz.
Pomerantz, a big guy, 6'5", 240.
It's funny, when Pomerantz was pitching for the San Diego Padres, he started 17 games this year. Record wasn't great, but he pitched much better than that. He was very deliberate, very slow. Out of the bullpen, it's been completely different. He gets it and wings it.
Okay, he was 8-7 with the Pods. Fine ERA of 2.47. The A's had traded him to San Diego, and then Padres turned around and traded him to Boston in July.
So, Ron, if he goes back to starting, do you think he'll keep up his pace from the bullpen?
I was thinking that that should definitely be one of the things he should take from this year being in the bullpen.
Little blooper to right, and Pedroia sticks with it. 2 down.
I know for you infielders, You love when the pitchers work quickly anyway.
Yeah, it keeps you on your toes. When they're walking around the mound, it seems like you're thinking, come on. But it really does keep you on your toes, and it keeps you ready to make that quick first move. Sometimes you get back on your heels, ball one, ball two, run to count to 3 and 2, walk around the mound, and you don't quite make a play. You don't quite get a jump on it.
3 Red Sox on the left side. Hanley Ramirez, the Lone Ranger, on the right side. Napoli 0 for 2 and takes outside. The 54th postseason game of Mike Napoli's career.
That was an up and in pitch. Mike Napoli didn't like it much. Looked like it was just out of the strike zone.
Foul past third, and we'll do it again. A ball and 2 strikes to the Indians' first baseman.
Interesting to see if Pomerantz, who got a strike up and in, tries to do that again. Strength of Napoli. Sandy Leon changed the paint color of his fingernail.
Pomerantz comes out of the pen, strikes out 2 of the 3 he faces. Now we'll see if the Boston Red Sox can do anything with Josh Tomlin in the bottom of the 5th. As powered by Amazon Web Services, that diving play by Dustin Pedroia going nearly 15 miles an hour.
And 17.6 feet. Great crossover step. You're watching his footwork really closely. Very efficient crossover, covers a lot of ground. When the ball is hit hard, sometimes it reminds me of a soccer goalie standing the penalty kick. You're standing in the middle there and you got to cover 12 yards to your left and 12 yards to your right. Pedroia would have been a good goalie on that play.
But if he wasn't playing baseball, as Petey says, he would be a tennis player if he were not a professional baseball player.
Really?
Yeah. He says he's a serve and volley guy, which you don't normally see from a guy whose size.
Does he realize the guys serve 130 miles an hour? That's the game now?
You think that matters to him?
No.
Hanley Ramirez leading it off in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Waves at that from Josh Tomlin, who has been impressive here in Game 3.
You know, Tomlin is not the biggest athlete as a pitcher. You know, we watch so many guys 6'5", 6'6", 230, 240. He's a smaller right-handed pitcher. So sometimes it really helps when he gets some extra time. There's a little more life on his fastball. This year, with 6 or more days rest, he's 5-0 ERA under 2. He's had 8 days before this start.
So what's his stats upon 8 days rest?
Right now, 4 scoreless.
In the air, right field, near the track, but very playable for Chisenhall. 1 down. Josh Tomlin has only allowed 2 base runners. Both of those came in the 2nd, and he was bailed out on a double play ball on a fine play by Lindor.
He has 3 strikeouts when Red Sox hitters have been looking. And when you're getting strikeouts like that and you don't have 95-mile-an-hour stuff, it's because you're setting up each hitter properly. And that's what he's done so far.
Here's the only guy with a hit off Tomlin, Xander Bogaerts.
They used to use that argument against the umpires, saying, okay, he doesn't have the best stuff in the world. How could he be getting called third strikes? I'm glad they didn't use that back on me the way you just used, that he's setting the hitter up properly.
Cal, I know you don't like pitchers, but you shouldn't make it so evident. They do serve a purpose.
Yes, they're the most important people on the team.
Boy, the sincerity just dripping off of you. There's a strike for Tomlin.
No, the starters are the most important.
2-1.
You took that as sarcasm?
Yes, they're the most important players on the team.
I really love that new bike you got me for Christmas.
Thanks for the shirt.
Guess it was in the delivery, I suppose.
The 2-1 line to center, base hit. 2 hits off Tomlin, both by Bogaerts. And here's Benintendi.
Well, he's had about the prettiest swing, of course, of all Red Sox hitters with 2 hits. Both bullets.
Yeah, the timing of his front leg, you know, that's a timing mechanism for him. He was much softer, picked it up and kind of hung it there for a minute, recognized the pitch, put it down and hit it. So much of hitting is timing. He waited really well on the first breaking ball and then on that fastball.
There's a strike to Benintendi, who rounded into an inning-ending double play in the second. Lindor, the shortstop, shaded over toward the bag. And Benintendi hit it right at him his first time.
It was at this part of the game, in game 1, that Terry Francona started thinking towards Andrew Miller. Probably doesn't have to think that way here so far with Tomlin, because Tomlin has been, I think, more effective than Bauer was in game 1.
Thrown only 72 pitches to this point. Here comes number 73 in front of the plate.
But I'll bet he's inching a little closer to the phone right now.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, this ball was way in front of home plate with spin to it. Really nice controlled block.
Throw over. Almost had him leaning.
Well, Bogaerts had 13 stolen bases this year, so he has speed. So you got to keep him close. Almost got him napping.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect him to run though. Down 2-0. You fall asleep over there and give it to him, yes, but I don't see him running right now.
1-1. In the air to left. Crisp goes back, and he'll have to play this one off the wall. Here comes the throw to the plate. He's going to be safe. Bogaerts beat the ramp, and the Red Sox are on the board.
Fly ball off the wall. If you're on first base, you're wondering, is that got enough to get to the wall? Bogaerts runs almost immediately. Gives him a chance to be waved home. This wasn't the best of relays right here. Good strong throw by Lindor, but he clearly beats it.
If Coco could have thrown a better ball to Lindor, he might have had a replay of what happened in game 1 in the first inning.
Now Benintendi, the runner at second, is the tying run. Sammy Leone took a called third strike his first time. Now this place is getting loud. On the corner.
Remember in game 1, Perez was able to reach back and get the knee of Brock Holt. But Xander Bogaerts calls himself safe.
Dan Otero getting loose in the Indians bullpen. The Red Sox have gotten through to Tomlin here in the 5th. Threatening for more.
After the home run by Sandy Leon in the first game, he has seen a steady diet of curveballs down and in.
No balls, 2 strikes to the Red Sox catcher. Nice block by Perez again. 1-2. Red Sox fans hoping that what once worked against Johnny Cueto in a wild card game might have some effect on Josh Tomlin here in this game.
Yeah, we got a good look at Bogaerts reading it right now because he wasn't sure whether it was going to get caught, and he just flashes his really good speed. But I'd like to see him get around second base a little bit more as he was viewing the ball off the wall. Wouldn't have been so close at home.
2-2 pitch, and he got him.
Just keeps throwing Sandy Leon that breaking ball. Can't lay off it. When you're throwing this pitch, when you're trying to get the strikeout, you envision bouncing the ball on the plate. Literally, that's what Tomlin did.
4th strikeout for Tomlin. 2nd time he's gotten Leon. And here's Bradley, who struck out his first time. He's 0 for 7 with 6 strikeouts in the series. Benintendi, who doubled home the first run for Boston, still at second.
You know, Cal, I was thinking, what a send by third base coach Brian Butterfield. That could have been a disaster down 2 runs.
Yeah, that was a risk if he gets thrown out at home plate. They haven't scored a whole lot of runs, and it could have been also a momentum builder for them. But there's a timing when you get to third base that the third base coach uses. He's got a good view of when the ball's coming in. And normally per runner, he kind of figures out how close are you to third base when I got to make that decision. And Bogaerts has good speed, got to that position, and Butterfield just kept him going.
Jackie Bradley Jr. had the longest hitting streak in the American League this year at 29.
So Brian Butterfield all the way down there by the on-deck circle, or I guess that's the fungo circle they call it now. But him looking out, he had a good angle to see the throw. He didn't want to be moving. He wanted to be standing still so he could see that whole play develop and then make the decision. That's why he got so deep down there, to delay the decision and be able to be standing still when he was actually trying to use his eyes to make that send to home.
Hit on the ground to Napoli. He will win the race to the bag, and that'll do it for the Red Sox in the 5th, but they do get on the board. Andrew Benintendi, an extra base hit, scoring Bogaerts. It'll be tomorrow here at Fenway Park. It's either going to be a 2 or a 3, depending on the number of games being played tomorrow. So if the Cubs were to put away the Giants, coverage will begin at 2:30.
Send me a text, okay?
I'd just like to say this. Check local listeners.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll let you know about it. Hey, RJ, where are you? Strike to Ramirez. 1-1. Drew Pomerantz still in there for Boston, working in his second inning in relief of Clay Buchholz, who went 4 and allowed 2 runs.
Good for them.
Switch hitting. Ramirez turns around and hit him right-handed.
Making the decision on the last day to pitch Pomerantz out of the bullpen to get him ready for the bullpen in this series. He might be the best starter that they have, even though he's relieving.
Just inside, 3-1. Ramirez started the rally in the 4th inning that netted the Indians 2 runs.
Steady diet of breaking balls, but he's going to have to come to the fastball this time.
He did. It was up high, and it's a leadoff walk for Ramirez here in the 6th. They are zipping right along here at Fenway.
And these are the numbers I'm talking about the starters so far in this series. Not one of these talented pitchers have been able to make it through 5 innings. The Indians have had a lot to do with that.
I'm sure Porcella and Price, they want to have a chance, a second chance in this series. They got to find a win somehow.
Chisenhall walked and scored a run in the 4th. In that 4th, Ramirez singled to lead it off, and then Chisenhall walked. Crisp laid down a sacrifice bunt to get him the 2nd and 3rd, and Tyler Naquin came up with his first postseason hit after striking out 3 times and knocked in a pair.
You know, we talked about the favorable at bats, 70% for the Indians, right-handed against left-handed pitching, left-handed against right-handed pitching, but it was Chisenhall against David Price with the 3-run home run, which was the key in game 2.
Je vous en prie. Soyez patiente et attendez le retour de votre
There
maître.
was that home run in game 2.
Même
An
si,
absolute
comme vous le craignez, son non-sommeil
frozen
efface de sa
rope
mémoire
off of
jusqu'à notre
the
existence.
plexiglass in front of the